What's up, guys? Logan here. This past week, I was able to get back-to-back tops at the Philadelphia and Hartford regionals with Fiendsmith Ryzeal, and I wanted to share with you guys a quick deck profile as well as some of my thoughts about the deck and a combo at the end. I think this deck is really well positioned both this format and next format post-Suda. Before I start out with the profile, quick shout out to my boys Thomas, Sergio, Evan, Eric, and Rob, as well as my boys from Moki Meta, Luke, Tristan, and Logan. Getting into the profile, played just a standard Ryzeal package, 3 Ice, 3 X'd, 3 Sword, 1 Node, and 1 Cross. Nothing much to say about these. The one thing I do want to note is I was keeping in Node and Cross going second post side. I know some people side them out because they're, I guess, a little bricky, but I think a lot of the times you actually play through your opponent's board with your Fiendsmith cards, and you do resolve Duo Drive. And in those scenarios where they have follow-up, because let's say a Malice player resolved MTP or drew a lot of cards, or a Fiendsmith player might have, like follow-up in graveyard, you need these cards to actually set up your own board to convert the game state to a win. Then also just 3 Bonfire for consistency. For the Ryzeal, for the Fiendsmith package, I played 3 Engraver, 2 Tracked, the 1 Lacrima, 1 Lurie, 1 Paradise. Not much to say other than that. I think the 2 Tracked is really solid. It comes up a lot, just both in grind games and also if you need to discard Engraver when you already have Necroquip on the field to get an additional draw. Going second, I pretty much always sided out 1 Tracked, 1 Engraver, and the Trap because they're the least essential engine cards, but I was really happy with the ratio overall. Then for the non-engine, I played 3 Fuwa, 3 Ash, 3 Emperm, 3 Valor, and 3 Nib. I think these are pretty much just non-negotiable if you're playing a hand trap version of the deck. They're all super strong and just generically good into every matchup. Then for the last 3 non-engine slots, I played 1 Talents, 1 Druisworm, and 1 Magnamut. I think Magnamut and Druisworm are really solid cards, just standalone. I didn't want to play a higher Bestial count because it's not great into Malice, but I thought these cards were just good enough on their own to justify playing. The 1 Talents was really solid when I drew it. You draw a decent amount of cards between Necroquip, Fuelos, and Cross in this deck, so I was pretty happy with all of these at 1. I saw them enough to where they were impactful. Then for the extra deck, I played 2 Detonator. You definitely need 2. It just comes up. 1 Duo Drive. I didn't miss this a lot, but there were some game states where my Duo Drive got hand trapped to turn 1, and I was able to make a second one turn 2 if I had it. So I might consider bumping this up to 2 in the future, but it's not like super necessary. The 1 Aggregator, Send Off X, Exciton for the bridge into the Fiendsmith engine when you start with Ice. This is also just really good going second into the Malice matchup. They kind of have to respect your level 4 bodies and use their spot removal on them early, or they risk just like losing a lot of their resources in follow-up. Then for the Fiendsmith cards, Requiem, Moon, Sequence, Agnum Day. This card was really solid for me in both regionals. I definitely wouldn't cut it. There's a lot of times going second where you want to link off your Desiree to get the send effect to force a back row or something and then bring it back. And also just being able to summon this back off Lacrima and guarantee a Desiree through like a Nib or something when you're comboing is really solid. Necroquip, Desiree, Caesar, not much to say. Chaos Angel, this card's really solid. It helps your Fiendsmith engine out Detonator a lot of the time, and it's just like a threat your opponent constantly has to respect. Also, in game states where they make their own Light and Dark Chaos Angel, you can make this and then make a Dweller Detonator that's unable to be destroyed by battle, and then you can usually just win a resource game from there and establish eventually a Desiree that's boosted by Agnum Day to start piercing over it. Then for the last 2 extra deck slots I played, definitely the most cuttable cards were Typhon and Dweller. I like Dweller a lot into the mirror match. Sometimes you're not able to out all of your opponent's Fiendsmith follow-up, and this is a nice way to strengthen your end board. And Typhon can definitely punish your opponent if they end on just like a Detonator and a Cross, and they don't respect it. I didn't make either of these cards at Hartford, and I think I only made Dweller like once or twice at Philly. So these could definitely be other cards. They could be a second Requiem because your Requiem gets Bestialed a lot, or a second Duo Drive. And post-Suda, 1 or both of these are definitely going to be Twins of the Eclipse. Then finally for the side deck, I played 3 Lancia, just to respect Malice, 2 Bell, also for the Malice matchup. This is really solid hitting the GWC, or in a more simplified game state, the Field Spell. I also played a Labyrinth at both regionals, so this card was really solid against them. I would definitely play it again. For the one card for the mirror match, I opted for 3 Slayer over something like Perulia. This card obviously just can't get Ash Blossomed, and it usually can't get cross-outed, and it outs a lot of the Fiendsmith Ryzeal board, trading with both like a Detonator and a Caesar or a Cross. And I thought overall this was just more impactful into the matchup than like a Perulia. Then I played 7 Go First cards. I played Crossout, Called By, and Strikes. There's a lot of game states where post-side your opponent has a really strong non-engine into you, whether it's the Charmies or Slayer or something like that. And I already had 18, I believe, or 17 hand traps in the main deck. So I didn't really feel like I need to side like a ton of Go Second cards into Malice and Fiendsmith Ryzeal. These cards are really solid for me when I went first. I think Strike is a little bit better than Judgment because the games you lose aren't usually because you have a full board and you can't back it up. It's because you don't establish a full board, and in those scenarios, Strike is a lot more efficient at hitting like an opponent's engine than, say, Judgment. Usually to side these in, I would take out 2 Imperm, 2 Fua, 2 Valor, and then Nib. And then to Malice, where I had to take out more cards to also put in Lancia, I would take out more hand traps, like a second Nib and the Bestials. Now guys, I wanted to share with you one of the more complicated 2-card combos I was doing with the deck to get the most out of Ice and Engraver. A lot of people don't know that you can set up both Desiree and Caesar if you have this combination of cards. So getting into it, you normal summon Ice, special summoning Ext. Ext effect will grab you Sword. Then you overlay these 2 into Exiton, link it off for Requiem, and then go Requiem effect, special summoning Lacrima. Lacrima will send Engraver from your deck. Then you can equip the Requiem, send these both off for Necroquip, and then you can go Engraver effect, adding Track to your hand, and then Necroquip will trigger to draw you a random card. Then you can go Tract effect, adding and discarding Lurie to summon. You can activate Engraver effect here, summoning itself back by shuffling back your Exiton. And then you can link the Lurie and the Engraver off into Sequence. Go Sequence effect, shuffling back one of your Engravers, the Lurie, and the Requiem to summon out your Desiree. Then you can link off the Desiree and the Sequence here into Agnum Day. And now the thing is, because you have the Sequence, the Desiree, and the Lacrima all still in graveyard, you don't actually have to bring back the Desiree right away. You can do it on your opponent's turn. So instead what you can do is you can do Agnum Day effect to summon back your Engraver and equip. And then you can overlay these 2 to summon your Caesar. Now from here, you're protected from Nib, so you can go Sword, grab Ext, special summon the X, sending off something random. You can overlay these 2 into Duo Drive, and then you can do Duo Drive effect, attaching something, and then detaching something. I like to make sure I detach the Sword Ryzeal, so when I reborn off node, I'm not playing into like a Bestial. Duo Drive will grab you your Cross and your node. You can activate the Cross and use this effect to put back your Ice Ryzeal and your X Ryzeal to draw another random card, so you know exactly what you want to send off node. And then you can special summon off node, send a card from your hand, and then use that to reborn your Sword. And then you can overlay these 2 for your Detonator. And then Detonator can attach a couple things here. If you send Aggregator, you can attach that. Or if you're not worried about putting the Omni Negate on the board right away, you can attach Desiree, get the effect to put back the Sequence once you detach it from the Detonator. And then after you've done that, you can go Lacrima to bring back the Agnum Day and bring back the Desiree. So that'll be all for this deck profile and short combo tutorial. If you enjoyed, please let me know in the comments down below, and thank you for watching.